what we learned this week, episode 31, where it might not matter,
but we're going to do it anyway. I'm Liz.
And I'm Chalene. And welcome. We have an announcement.
Da, 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 da.
And there's a lot of people that say, wait till the end for our special announcement. And guess what I want to do?
Open with it.
Punch him in the face.
Oh.
So, we are going to open with it.
I love this.
So, Liz, do you want to lead with the announcement?
Yes. We are taking a break. Don't get panicky. Don't get nervous.
Don't think Ross and Rachel.
That's right.
Well, actually, they got back together, so I guess it kind of is.
That's fine. We won't forget you.
No.
As in, like, it's not really going to end, but it's going to shift. Tell us about the shift, Chalene. What does this mean to you?
Well, we decided that we would kind of take a season break. So we're going to end our season 1, and we aren't going to leave you abandoned, though. We're going to leave little treats for you along the way. And
like a trail? Do I get to follow?
Yes.
Okay.
And with the holidays coming up, be ready for some tips because you all know I love random things and I love Christmas. Okay, well, we are going to take a break until mid-January. The date is TBD.
Yep.
No, TBD. Did I say 2BD?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
That was awesome.
It's going to be TBD, to be
decided.
Oh, yeah. I kind of wanted to say TBA, I think. To be announced. Yeah.
Oh, that's another one. You can say that.
Okay. Yeah. So we will announce that as we go along. But like we said, we're not going to leave you hanging. We want to keep kind of going what we have. Okay, Liz, do you want to kind of tell them what we're going to be doing?
Sure.
Okay.
Our focus is just going to shift a little bit over the next couple months. We really want to make sure that we're taking care of needs of families and holidays and kids and, life. Things that kind of hang around in the background, which just means that we'll be dropping, like Chalene said, little nuggets for you along the way until we get to January. So there will still be a little something to look forward to each week, some little releases here and there of thoughts of, we're going to give you a sample of a meditation. We're also looking to do things like build our email list. And in building some of our email list, we're looking for just some responses from our audience. So we'd love to hear from you guys if you'd like to join for the opportunity for a little freebie. We'll announce when that happens too. And one of the other things that we're going to start is an application process for interviews. We'd love to hear from you and maybe a topic or someone that you would be interested in hearing from. So in the application, it would just be like, again, it might be a topic that you're really interested in, or it might be someone that you know that you're like, this person needs to, we need to have Chalene and Liz interview them, or someone that you know of, just anything along those lines. So we're trying to get just a little bit more interaction here and really make sure that you as the audience get to experience with us this path of...
And learn with us.
Yeah, of learning with us. And it's so much bigger than just the two of us, I think is really what we're coming to as we kind of circle back. So it seems like this is really going to be an appropriate time to help us refocus on that. And we'd love to have you a part of that with us. Keep on the journey. This is a new, fresh part of it.
Yes, I'm really excited.
Me too.
For the change. So
Chalene's an inspired individual, as the use.
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I think we came up with this together.
No? I just said yes. And put in my inputs.
Oh, okay.
I'm really good at opinions after I have an idea from somebody else.
Oh, okay. And I'm really good at the ideas, so that's good.
Yeah, we got a thing going.
I don't know what else I have to say about that, but I think, like we said, we would love a little interaction from our listeners. And I know there's a few of you who have talked to me about listening, and it means so much to me. I'm actually always surprised when I find out people listen. So thank you for those of you.
Aww. Because we love
especially
you,
those of you in other countries. If you're one of those, we would love to hear from you. I'm really curious.
Me too.
There are a few people from
Australia,
England.
We had
India was last time.
Was it India? Did we have a Thailand in there?
Maybe in South Africa.
We'd love.
I mean, maybe it was an accident, but if it wasn't, we'd love to hear from you.
We would.
Okay, Liz, are you okay to delve into a little bit of a subject today?
I am. I'm ready.
All right. So, I subscribe to the Modern Mrs. Darcy. Have you heard of her, Liz?
No.
Okay.
I feel like I've missed out. Did you know that Pride and Prejudice is one of my faves? I mean,
Yes.
there's a whole subculture. I'm not into all that. But
Oh, I think it's really cool. Austin Land, the movie.
Okay, that one is really
Yeah.
good times.
It is good times. If you haven't seen it, please do it.
Just for laughs and giggles. If you've ever watched Pride and Prejudice in general, you need to see Carrie Russell in this.
Oh, yes.
And all I'm going to say is the last piano scene
yeah, afterwards.
is worth the whole movie. Okay, enough said.
Okay. She has a blog, and she also has a podcast called What Should I Read Next?
Okay.
And has quite a following. I think she started out kind of giving book deals like Kindle, Amazon, ebook deals.
Okay.
But then she started giving recommendations for books. And she's really good. I would say, well, I like to say that it's a little geared towards women, but she has all sexes and types of people on the show. And she'll recommend books based on what they like to read, like their favorite and their least favorite. And then she gives them a recommendation.
Ooh, kind of like The Book Doctor?
Yeah.
That one book that I read about The Book Doctor.
Oh, I never even heard of The Book Doctor.
Oh my gosh.
I just
The
was
Little Paris-
agreeing like I
I
knew
think
it.
I think it's the Little Paris Bookshop. And he goes around and he gives your book diagnoses, based on the best book that's going to be for you at the time.
Oh, I would love that.
Right?
Yeah, actually. I read a book similar to that. It was like a cozy mystery, I think it was called. I can't remember the title.
Mystery.
But it was about a woman who opened a bookshop and people would come in and she would give therapy and tell them a certain book to read, and it actually really helped them with the stuff they were going
that's
through.
the same concept. Okay.
Yeah.
Totally. Oh, but it's not therapy.
No, it's not therapy. It's just what you would enjoy.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, she was just discussing in her blog about women in her business.
Okay.
Her business has really grown. And how she was a firstborn daughter, meaning she was firstborn and she's a daughter.
She's the firstborn child and she happens to be a daughter.
Yes.
That's in the firstborn position.
Right.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And as she was looking and kind of taking an informal poll, she realized that I think all of the women that worked for her were the same.
What?
And how kind of the characteristics of a firstborn daughter and what it's like. And so I thought about for a minute and I thought, okay. And I thought about Liz, who says she's technically a secondborn because of the first child her parents lost. But as I look at the characteristics of a firstborn daughter, I think that she has a lot of those characteristics.
Oh my gosh, I'm so curious. So is this what piqued you too? Because you're a firstborn daughter, right?
Yes, I am a firstborn daughter.
Oh my gosh. Okay, what are these? Do you have them memorized or written down?
Okay, so just kind of what she said is that all the women that work for her are firstborn daughters, which is crazy. And she kind of talks about, she said in one of her episodes, she talked about how she's a conscientious firstborn daughter who got good grades and aspired to be an upstanding citizen. And she once believed that she had to finish every book that she began because good people finish what they start.
Oh, dang.
And so everyone started talking about it and they were like, yeah, we all got good grades. We all felt like we needed to finish a book. We were trying to be really conscientious.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel like you have all those qualities?
If we just went by that list, it's check, check, check.
Yeah. And I mean, just as an aside, the time that someone told me I didn't have to finish a book, it was so freeing.
I only in the last couple years realized that I could also start more than one book at a time.
Really?
I know. It's so bad, right?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't think I really had any desire to read more than one book at a time because I
was deeply immersed in the first one that I had to finish all the way through because I'm a finisher. Yeah. No, when I had AP English, that was a thing.
That's
I read every book. If they said to read I didn't read Cliff Notes. I read the book. I had friends that I sat next to and they were like, how could you get through this? There was one that was so long.
What was it?
I don't even remember. It was it was a British story. I feel like it was called Thrushcross Grange or something horribly difficult, 560 pages of
That's just
colloquial. I read it. It was fascinating. I couldn't help it. I know. Well, enough. And they said to read it. So I did.
I was just curious, Liz. I think in some ways I started researching and reading the book, the Birth Order book.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
Mm-mm.
I think it's by a guy named Lehman, if I'm correct. If not,
Leaman?
No, Lehman. And
okay.
he's just a psychologist who kind of just started doing some research on birth order and how it affects everyone. Did talk about firstborns. And so my husband and I are both firstborns. So it says that firstborns are typically organized and kind of the ones in charge.
Okay.
which I thought was interesting. It kind of needs to go their way. And I used to be like that when I was like a teenager.
Okay.
But I'm not like that anymore. And I'm curious on like what your take is on that. If because I married another firstborn, I kind of stepped back a little bit.
Probably.
Or like, can you change those characteristics based on your life? I don't know. I guess when I read a personality test like that, I want it to be like really definitive.
Oh, like
And-
impermanent.
And he says that there are outliers that go with that. And I guess I haven't got to all of them yet. But
Okay.
when he read that list, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not who I'm supposed to be. That was my
Interesting.
first thought.
Which sounds like a firstborn characteristic.
That's true.
Oh my gosh, am I not doing the right? What? That's firstborn. P.S.
So some of them I'm good at, the obsessing parts. Why can't I be the organized parts?
You are organized. We've talked about this. I'm like totally trying to drill it into you. Your organization is different.
She says that as she's sitting in piles of my daughter's clothes. That I'm
Because
trying
she's
to go
organizing.
through.
Hello, people don't like, or non-organizers don't even do that.
Oh my gosh.
It's a real thing. And the only reason we're over here is because my life is unorganized and you couldn't come to my office. Remember?
Okay. Touche.
There you go, sister.
Anyway, it was fascinating to kind of find out those roles. And like I said, I'm not done with the book. I've just been really curious about the firstborn daughter issue. He was saying, I can go into a room and within just a few minutes of interacting and maybe even not interacting, just watching them interact with other people, I can tell you who the firstborns are in the room.
That's crazy. I feel like I need to start doing this around, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, were we talking about this for a second the other day? You must have brought something up about this
because I can't stop talking about this once I'm learning about it.
Same. I mean, I do it all the time. What about on our retreat? Did we have Julie's a firstborn? So firstborn girl as well. She was our co-host for the retreat and shared a lot in one of our retreat episodes. If you hadn't heard about that, check it out.
And 2 other women that were there, I just asked, and they are firstborn.
Oh, serious?
So there were 5 of us there out of 12?
9.
9? Yeah.
That's kind of, I'd be really curious about the other ones then too. Yeah. So listeners, which one of you are the firstborn girls in your family?
Yeah, we'd like to know. And what characteristics do you maybe see in yourself?
Do you have a couple more you could give us, or just condense it really quick again for us one more time? Organized.
Some of the characteristics of a firstborn child are they are reliable, conscientious, structured, cautious, controlling, aka bossy. Achievers, want to excel at everything, and they bask in their parents' attention.
Yeah, those sound pretty accurate.
Those ones definitely feel like me. As much as I think I'm not, maybe just the organized part fell. I guess conventional organization or unconventional organization is still organization, like you were saying.
Well, and one thing I just want to point out, and you and I have talked about this a couple times too, I think, and I could be wrong, I'd love to hear some perspectives from our audience. I feel like clutter and organization is not the same thing. So,
okay.
So here's the thing. I'm very organized and meticulous when it comes to like processes and things that help me to stay on top of all the stuff in my life that I have, right? So like I have a calendaring system that I work out with my husband so that we always stay on top of all the activities and things going on. I have a routine. I have a lot of routines in place that make it so that I can always find my keys. So I can always... One thing that drives me nuts, for example, is dirty counters in my kitchen. That's a thing to me.
You are my husband. Wow.
I wipe everything after I do something. It eludes me that people could possibly make something on the counter and leave it. It's so easy to wipe up and clean along the way. My house stays cleaner longer. Or, you know what I mean? It might not be deep clean all the time, but you can probably go touch my counters and there's not crap all over them.
Can I just tell you, of the time. Like I've had this conversation with my husband, like
the counter conversation?
Yeah, just kind of like that. It's so much easier, Chalene. And I'm like, I know.
Okay, but like I said, so those are processes, right? Organization of papers. Like, I mean, one thing that kind of gets on my nerves that I'm not really good at taking care of all the time is like the papers. I'll end up with stacks in my house until I finally give up and go through it all. If I was a little more organized about that, I'd probably have a place for something and everything all the time. But in your kitchen, do you have that? Like, didn't you just go through every nook and cranny in there and everything has a home? This is for water bottles. This is for this type of spices. This is for when I cook this. That's organized, Joe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think
Coupons
probably for me is you're
habits.
right. It's the processes. It's the making sure that you're keeping up on it.
And with anybody, your processes are going to be, sorry, I totally cut you off. Your processes are going to be determined by your values, right? Mine is the dirty kitchen counter. What are your values? What are your processes based on?
Good food.
See? There you
Like
go.
that's really important to me is
Yeah.
making good meals. And so like the dishes don't bother me as much as long as there's something good to eat. So does that count?
Yeah, you go through very meticulous processes to make sure
Yes.
that there is good food, all the stuff you have going on in the background to make actual bone broth and kefir and bread and whatever for that particular meal, to find the coupons that get the best deals to make it happen. I could give less a crap. Like I don't mean it. I'll go to the
I don't take it bad. No.
And we had grilled cheese sandwiches the other day and soup I could dump in a bowl. And I was like, "Okay, I cooked for you." And the boys were like, "Yay."
I'm sure my kids would cheer for that too. They're like, I think last night, well, it was like frozen food, but this is so gross. I can't even look at it.
I'm so tired. I just don't even care anymore. I'm like, then starve. Eat it or don't.
Exactly.
Come back later in 2 hours when you're hungry again and find something. Like, I'm done.
I'm glad that we kind of had that moment to talk about it because I do feel a little bit better about it. But just, when I get to like the theories, it's interesting to me that it's either all or nothing for me in my brain sometimes.
Oh,
That if I don't fit everything, it's not true or not valid. And, I was listening to Liz earlier talk about a parenting book, and she was talking about how the author was a little bit extreme with something, and she just kind of tailored it to her own self. If I had read that parenting book for the first time and there had been something extreme, I probably would have said, well, this isn't going to work for me because I don't check all the boxes. But what I appreciate about Liz's personality and her way of understanding things is if this isn't working for me, I still see a lot of validity in it, but I'm just going to tweak this little thing and it still works. And it's interesting because I cook that same way too.
Interesting.
So last night, or a couple nights ago, I made this soup. It's actually really good.
Uh-huh.
It's like a cheesy enchilada soup.
Sounds delicious.
It was really good.
I'd
And
eat it.
it called for cream of potato soup. And I was like, I'm not going out to the store to make cream of potato soup. So I was looking up recipes on how to make a, substitute for cream of potato soup. And I ended up just reading the comments and someone was like, I didn't have any cream of potato. I never buy cream of potato. So I just used cream of chicken and it turned out great. And I thought, okay, I think I can do it because someone gave me permission, right? But if I don't have every single thing on that recipe, I typically won't make it.
Oh my gosh. I am the complete opposite of my life. It's really bad. I do nothing but substitutes all the time.
Which is awesome.
I
My
am
mom's the same.
the most ridiculous Well, there's beautiful benefits to it. I can adapt in any situation, take anything I need to out of anywhere. It's fantastic. But that's probably why Adam and I don't get along. Adam's my spouse. That's why he cooks better than I do, because he's like, no, if this recipe calls for cilantro, you don't make the recipe without cilantro. And I'm like, I would never in a million years even think about that. Oh, well, we didn't have cilantro today. We had it without it. Who cares?
Wow. Yeah,
I put ground coriander in instead, or skip it altogether and we'd be fine.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I think maybe that's more of a chef's prerogative versus a cook. I'm definitely a cook more than a chef. I don't necessarily create, but I'm really good at recreating.
That's awesome.
So, but you're more of a chef because you can kind of say, well, the cilantro didn't work, but I'm going to try this.
Yeah,
And,
that's a beautiful metaphor. I feel really good, and I'm going to sleep well at night tonight
Knowing
thinking
you're a
that
chef.
I've got
Chef Liz.
some adaptable skills here. But you know what? There's beauty to both sides, because we need, the world needs the way Cook Chalene does things.
Yeah.
We need to see that perspective sometimes, that this is why it works. See, that's organization in a whole different way, my friend.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for talking to me about this today. We would really be interested.
Yes.
Could we poll on Facebook on if they're first, middle, or last?
Yeah, let's do it.
I would really like to know. I'm just curious. If you hate polls, bear with me.
Answer.
Because you should like it. It's not a big deal. You just push a button.
Yeah, just say yes. Wait.
No, well, you have to do more.
You'll
than
have to
yes,
click.
kind of. You
Okay,
have to
fine.
read it, I guess. And we
thanks
will
for-
miss you.
we
We
will-
will
well,
miss you for a little bit, but we'll still be around.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in today and sharing this next phase of our journey with us,
And remember to keep learning.
because it does matter.
And so do you.
Welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Where the points don't matter.
Where the points don't matter, but we're going to do it anyways. That's what I feel like we sound
Speaking of, they did like Old Home Week or something on ABC.
And did you watch an old episode?
Well, they had like the people from Drew Carey were on the American Housewife show.
Uh-huh.
And the people from Cheers were on... What show were they on? I can't remember. But I don't think I watched Cheers enough when I was a kid because I decided...
Did you like it?
I'm Cliff. Do you know Cheers enough?
No.
He just kept coming up with all these random facts. Like they would like, oh, he's on the Goldbergs. They're like, oh, a bird went by. He's like, did you actually know that the long-legged heron flies south every week? You know, and I was like, oh shoot.
Are you a fact kid?
You haven't noticed that? I have something to say about everything. And it's like, I feel like I'm blessing the world with my knowledge. And I don't think people think that because they were all like rolling their eyes at Cliff. And I was like, oh. This is a good moment for me to reflect.
I've never rolled my eyes, though, at you doing that. I rolled my eyes at my brother. My brother does that.
That's probably because you didn't grow up with me, so...
But you do it differently. My brother's like, he says the words, did you know? You never say that.
I don't.
I just
blurt it out.
I don't know. It seems more natural conversationist.
All right, good. Well...
I don't know.
That could be our like safe word, Cliff. If I start like going off, I feel like
Chalene, Cliff,
yeah,
Cliff.
So I went off a cliff yesterday. Wink, wink.
Nice.
Okay,